Good evening and welcome to the April 26th, 2021 Goffstown Select Board meeting. First thing we'd like to do is have a pledge of allegiance. If you would all join me with that. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
Under God,
under God. Go ahead, Jim.
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next up would be a roll call. We'll start with Jim.
Present?
And is anybody in the room with you?
No.
Collis?
I am present. There is no one in the room with me.
Mark?
Present and nobody in the room with me.
Chet?
Here and no one is in the room with me.
And I am here also, of course, and no one is in the room with me. So first up would be I'm going to do the announcement. As the chair of the Goffstown Select Board, due to the COVID-19 outbreak in accordance with the Governor Sunun's Emergency Order Number 12, pursuant to the Executive Order 2020-04, this board is authorized to meet electronically. Please note that there is no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to the meeting, which was authorized pursuant to the governor's emergency order. However, in accordance with the emergency order, this is to confirm that the town is utilizing the Microsoft Teams platform for the electronic meeting. The public has access to contemporaneously listen and, if necessary, participate in this meeting through dialing the following telephone number: area code 603-766-5646, and using the participant code of 785645. And for those that don't write real fast, I'm going to read that one more time. It's 603-766-5646, and use the participant code of 785645, followed by the pound sign. The town previously gave notice to the public of how to access this meeting using the available telephone number and posted agenda. If anybody has a problem with telephone access, please call 603-384-3624. Again, that's 603-384-3624. In the event that the public is unable to access the meeting, we will adjourn the meeting and have it rescheduled at another time. Please note that all the votes that are taken during this meeting shall be done by roll call vote. Let's start the meeting by taking a roll call of attendance, which I've already done. With each member states their presence, also please state whether there is anyone in the room in this meeting, which is required under the right to know law. So the first up tonight would be the acceptance. Let me get the right date here before. Acceptance and correction of minutes of public and non-public from 4/12/21.
Make a motion, we accept the minutes for 12/21 public and non-public minutes with corrections if need be.
I'll second that.
Motion by Mark, seconded by Jim. Any comments, questions, changes? Seeing none, we'll call the roll. Jim?
Yes.
Collis?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes, sir.
Brett?
Yes.
And myself is a yes. Thank you. I have no announcements. Does anybody have anything they need to make an announcement on?
We have
Go ahead.
the one announcement on the Glen Lake refilling, Peter.
Raw down? I mean, the refill. I'm
Yes,
sorry, you're right.
that's in the book.
Yep. The Glen Lake refilling to begin on 05/10/21. So those of you who have been working on your docks need to have that done, and they'll be refilling the lake on 5/10/21. How's that? So flashboards went out. Let's move on. We got kind of an good agenda here tonight, so I'm trying to make sure we move right along with it. time is it? 6:06. I don't think David's going to have time in that amount of time. Derek, is there a couple things you want to bring up? Maybe the committee meeting schedule?
Sure. I'll start off at tab 7A. You've got your committee meeting scheduled for the next 2 weeks. On Wednesday at 7 p.m., the Conservation Commission will meet remotely.
Yeah, I got that.
Thank you. And next week, it's noted in your packet as 6:30 p.m., but I believe the EDC is meeting at 6 p.m. Next week.
Yep, and I'll be there.
Thank you.
And that's accurate, Chet, 6?
6 p.m. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Your next page, you have consent agenda for this week. You've got a DPW truck driver, new hire, a call EMT, new hire. You have 2 engineering interns. These are seasonal at DPW, new hires. You have a part-time assessing secretary, new hire. You have a status change for part-time Parks and Rec seasonal basketball monitor. The status change is to become a seasonal grounds worker for Parks and Rec. And then you also have status change forms for patrol and dispatch unions. This was to change from biannual stipends to an hourly differential. These were negotiated as part of the 2 CBAs that were approved at town meeting. For event permits, you have New Boston Half Marathon on May 16th from 7:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. The location is on Route 13 from New Boston to Goffstown through the town and back through out Route 114. You also have the Goffstown Garden Club plant sale on May 22nd from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. on the town common. And then the final item you have is a sympathy card for an employee.
Motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion by Collis, seconded by Chet. Is there any discussion? Just a quick question, Derek, on the road race. You said down 114, were they going to go back across Parker Road, or does it end down on 114?
I haven't seen the whole, but I believe it does go back out Parker Road and then back onto Route 13 into New Boston.
All right, thank you. I'll call the roll. Jim?
Yes.
Collis?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes, sir.
Chet?
Yes.
And myself is a yes. Motion passes 5-0.
I think I can get the assessor's recommendations real quick. You have an abatement application for map 18, lot 58 with a recommendation to deny. You have abatement application for map 17, lot 178, a recommendation to deny. You have an abatement application and a settlement agreement for map 18, lot 58B that is recommended. You have an application for current use assessment for map 3, lot 52 that's recommended. You have 2 elderly exemption applications, both recommended for map 6, lot 22-28 and map 9, lot 105. You have 4 veterans tax credit applications, all recommended for map 3, lot 65I-5, map 8, lot 41A, map 9, lot 13-3, map 9, lot 58-5. You have an all veterans tax credit applications. There's 2 of them, both recommended for map 9, lot 4-35 and map 37, lot 50. You have a veterans tax credit and service connected disability application, which is recommended for map 24, lot 38, and a report of excavated material under RSA 72B, which is recommended for map 6, lot 11-1.
I'll make a motion to approve the assessor's recommendations.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Chet and seconded by Mark. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the roll call. Jim?
Yes.
Collis?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes, sir.
Chet?
Yes.
And myself is a yes, so it passes 5-0-0. At this time, we'll call for public comment. Derek, is there anybody on the line for public comment?
There is no one on the call at this time.
Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. Is David there? Can he start now?
Yes,
David
David Pierce is on. I thought I saw him come in. He is not on at the moment. He dropped out.
Okay, well, he wasn't supposed to be on for 4 more minutes. Is there something else you can pick up on, Derek?
Sure, I can go to tab 7D. That's pretty quick. You have from DPW, they're seeking the acceptance of revocable temporary license for private drain connections at 53 High Street, which is map 38, lot 86, 37 Laurel Street, map 14, lot 61, and 67 Warren Ave, map 16, lot 225.
Are these new or are these re-ups type thing?
No, these are new, that are, again, these are for the benefit of Selectman Craig. When a homeowner, a lot of times when we're doing road construction, when we are correcting drainage, private drains can remove stormwater and non-contaminated water into the town's storm drainage system. This is an agreement that it's a license that is revocable if they were to provide or to enter any contaminated water into the town's storm system. So this allows them to do that, but it also gives us the power to revoke that license.
Thank you.
We have a motion?
Do we want them all together or do we do it separately?
Derek?
You can do them all together. That's fine.
Okay. I'll make a motion to allow private drain license on 53 High Street, map 38, lot 86, 37 Laurel Street, map 14, lot 61, and 67 Warren Avenue, map 16, lot 225.
Second,
So there's a motion by Chet, seconded by Mark. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the roll. Jim?
Yes.
Hollis?
Yes.
Mark?
yes, sir.
And Chet?
Yes.
And myself is a yes. Motion passes 5-0-0. Is David Pierce on the line?
He's not on yet. I can, Danielle, can you perhaps give him, oh, he is back. Yep. So.
David, you there?
Yes,
Okay.
I just, I had lost my internet connection and now I'm back on. Is it 6:15 for me?
Yeah, go right. Well, it's 6:14, close enough.
Thank you, sir. I'm David Pierce, Friends of the Gulfstown Rail Trail. And I'm happy to report that we're prepared to submit a grant application to the New Hampshire Trails Bureau to do a project in 2022. To me, this is a significant project as to it's 2/3 of a mile from Lynchville Park Road to Moose Club Park Road. And the concept of this is that with a $70,000 grant plus $20,000 in cash that our organization will match, that $90,000, I hope, will be sufficient for me to privately contract for the trail improvement. What I need this evening, because the land is a public park, I need the permission of the landowner, which is the select board, to say it's okay for this project to take place and for the chairman to sign a landowner permission form.
Anybody have any questions, Dave? Or Dave, is that enough? Are you all done?
Yes, thank you.
Anybody have any questions for Dave? One question, David. On where you have submitted here, it said Moose Club Park Road up to the town specs. When did the town adopt the spec for the rail trail?
Yes, the select board back in 2008 approved a set of specifications for the trail. And essentially 4 inches of crushed nitpack compacted to restore swales and to make sure that the height and width is cleared. from brush and limbs.
Okay,
The area that I'll be doing from Lynchville to Moose Club has never been touched in any fashion. It has become severely eroded over the last 40 years. So a bicyclist will experience lots of, undulations and up and down. There's no proper drainage swales when the trail goes through a cut, and the drainage swales have to be restored.
thank you. Anybody got any questions?
Yeah, I just need a clarification, Peter, if I can. So.
Go right ahead.
David, the $20,000 in cash that Friends of Goffstown Rail Trail are putting up, that is the match that's required?
Yes, it is.
So there's no commitment for town resources like equipment, materials, or personnel?
I'm very happy to report that we're going to do this on our own.
I'm very happy to hear that. Thank you.
Great. Any other questions? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to authorize the chairman to sign the landowner's permission form supporting the NHRTP 2022 grant application sponsored by the Friends of the Rails Trail, Goffstown.
I'll second that, Peter.
So we have a motion by Mark and seconded by Collis to authorize myself to sign the landowner permission form. So we'll have a roll call. Jim?
Yes.
Collis?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes, sir.
Chet?
Yes.
And myself is a yes. So we'll go ahead with that, David. Thank you for all your hard work.
Yep. Thank you,
Thank you.
David.
I
Appreciate it.
The winners of the grant will be announced in November. If I'm successful, I'll be back before the board for the usual acceptance of a donation for trail improvement.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work, Dave.
Yep. Thank you much.
Right.
Derek, do we have anything we can do for about 7-8 minutes? Derek, you there? Do you have anything we could do for 7 or 8 minutes, Derek?
Sorry, I didn't realize I was muted. Yes, I can take you to tab 7E real quick. We do have Mr. Swanson on the line, but I believe this will be real quick in case anybody wanted to call in or listen in on that matter. But on 7E, you have a bid award recommendation on the townwide CCTV surveillance system. Again, this was a project budgeted in CIP, identified for a few years now to provide surveillance of town facilities at the different buildings. We received 10 timely bids. The recommendation this evening is to go with Fibernex. Their total proposal of $112,094.01. The budget for this project was $150,000. The town will be required to provide appropriate grounding or power, grounding, and network equipment for this. So there are going to be some additional cost for this project, and this will incur an ongoing annual software license for the cameras, which right now will be $1,376. You will see all the bids in your packet. You have been provided all of those. I do want to point out that this was not the low bidder. There was one from Verkada, but that was for camera equipment only. It did not include any of the installation costs or anything else. So we are not recommending that. And then TNT, which is Telephone Network Technologies out of Hooksett, provided 2 bids. Theirs was lower for the same monitoring system, which is a Milestone software, the same software that the school uses. Theirs was about $12,000 less. That difference was primarily at Town Hall with a difference of about $9,000. They were proposing fewer cameras here at Town Hall as well as a different camera manufacturer. And then there was also a $2,500 difference at DPW. Again, they were proposing different camera locations, and throughout their bid, they used a different camera. Our IT system administrator is recommending, and I am as well, FiberNext, based on their presentation and also the cameras that they're proposing.
Were any of those bids have a less yearly maintenance fee, licensing fee?
No, the
they
one
all
that
the
we're
same?
proposing has the lowest annual maintenance because it has fewer cameras. It just placed them in different locations, and many of the cameras now are 365 or 360 degree cameras. So it's really, the annual maintenance is really based on the number of cameras that each bidder provided as a solution.
And if the camera goes down, do we get a fee to come out and fix it, repair it?
Yes, there is an hourly fee. There are warranties tied to the camera. So there is, I believe, let me just see, I've got all of them. I don't recall I think it was a 1 year for most of them on the cameras, and then they charge an hourly fee of, in one case, it was $100 an hour to come out and to work on those sites to correct any issues.
When you considered the bids, did you take that into consideration, the service calls and, do they charge, drive time from Concord versus someplace in Massachusetts and things like that?
So both of these companies are New Hampshire companies. FiberNext is out of Concord, where the low bidder was out of Hooksett. We looked at that, but that was not our primary consideration. Really, the proposed camera locations and the solutions that they provided in the design was our primary driver.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have questions?
Mr. Chair, I have one. Derek, the ongoing software license, did they give you either a dollar amount or a percentage for expected escalation on a yearly basis?
No, not in the, we did not request that in the bid, and we did not get that number from each vendor. What we typically budget is 5% for software increases, and that's what we've seen typical, except for when we have to do a major server overhaul or anything like that.
Okay, thank you.
I just,
Go right ahead, Jim.
thank you. The extra costs that you mentioned, those are one-time costs, and do you have any ballpark of how much those are going to be?
We don't have a cost because those may go above the threshold that requires bid for electrical. If we go between 3,000 and 10,000, the town is required under the purchasing policy to get 3 quotes. So we may have to go out and get quotes, or if it's above $10,000, we might have to bid that out as a separate part of this project. So I don't have that. We don't have what that cost is going to be yet.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? My only concern, there seems to be some gray area as far as the maintenance costs, where we don't have an actual fixed dollar amount. Somebody could come in with a lower bid, or even, I know we're not even using the lowest bid, but their maintenance costs or fees to come out and fix it could be considerably higher. I mean, that's how some things work. They don't, it's like you buy the razor, then the blades are more expensive. And I just want to make sure that we've covered those bases, Derek. It doesn't, from what I understand, it doesn't sound like we really asked those questions.
Well, these are surveillance over internet. These are over IP address cameras. So our IT department is going to be able to do a lot of the maintenance issues. The FiberNext one is their charge is $100 per hour for any remote service or support or any on-site service calls. And then we would be charged for materials on top of that. So it'd be $100 an hour. But RIT is going to try and service these when they're able to, and then only call in for service when it's truly needed.
So if we call, doing what you just said, if we call to say, hey, we got a problem, what do you think it is? And they say, well, it could be this, we're gonna get charged. Because it's
Yeah,
offsite service.
Yeah, it's an off-site service, yes, as a consultant, yep.
I just, it's, anytime you enter into one of those agreements, it's you gotta be careful. I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to award the bid for admin 2021-01 CCTV surveillance system to FiberNext of Concord, New Hampshire, and to authorize the town administrator to negotiate a contract for the bid price of $112,094.01.
Second.
Here's second by Chet. Motion by Mark, second by Chet. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the roll. Jim?
Yes.
Hollis?
Yes,
Mark?
Yes, sir.
Chet?
Yes.
And myself is a yes. You all set with that, Derek?
Yes, I am, thank you very much.
Okay, next up was a meeting with Ken Swanson seeking permission for a Class 6 road maintenance. The road is Shanty Road, and that is for the purpose of accessing property map 12, lot 2 for logging. And did you want to, Derek, did we want to hear from Mr. Swanson?
If I can just give you a brief overview, Mr. Swanson is on the telephone. Mr. Swanson, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. Yes, so I just want to give the board a quick background before I let Mr. Swanson speak to his request. But again, he's seeking permission for the board to perform minimal maintenance on a Class 6 road. You do have a map in your packet, and I will share that for anybody that may be watching at home. But Shanty Road runs between Montalona and Portage Road, and Portage Road is off of Blackbrook Road. This is an old Class 6 road. Mr. Swanson did meet with DPW Director Adam Jacobs on site earlier in March. He's proposing cutting some very small trees within the right-of-way of Shanty Road. Adam said that he did not have any issue with these proposed cuts, and they're not large enough to require a butter notification. An intent to cut for the lot, map 12, lot 12, has been filed with the assessor's office, and I'll just let Mr. Swanson speak to anything else that I might have missed.
Just one quick question, Derek. You said map 12, lot 12. Isn't it lot 2?
Yes, it is. I'm sorry. Yes, map 12, lot 2.
All right, thank you. Ken, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't really have anything to add other than just trying to improve the road so I can get down there and do some logging.
Hey, is there also a pit down in there? Is that the same road that has a pit on it?
You know, 60 years ago, there was a gravel pit down there to the left on Everett Upton's land, but yeah, it's been a long time.
Okay. Well, I've received some complaints up in that area about shooting in a pit. I wasn't sure if this is the location that it was at.
Oh, that's off the end of Portage Road, and that is a gravel pit down there.
But that's not the property we're talking about.
No, it's not.
All right, thank you. Anybody got any questions for Mr. Swanson? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion.
Motion to authorize Kenneth Swanson to remove small trees identified during March site walk with DPW Director and to place required amounts of riprap around or gravel with no fines on Shanty Road to provide access to log his property identified as tax map 12, lot number 2, subject to recording the municipal waiver for liability.
Second.
Who seconded that, Jim?
Chet.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So I have a motion by Mark and it was seconded by Chet to approve the permission for Class 6 road maintenance for Mr. Swanson. Call the roll. Jim?
Yes.
Hollis?
Yes,
Mark?
Yes, sir.
And Chet?
Yes.
And myself is a yes. So 500, motion passes. Mr. Swanson, you're all set to do your improvements.
Thank you. I will sign the papers and get them back to you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
We have a public hearing, but it's not till 7. Derek, you got anything else?
There's nothing else in the town administrator's report. You do have a couple of items under tab 9, under select board discussion. So I think the first thing, Mr. Chair, is if there was anything under new business that needed to be brought up. Normally you
Yeah,
do new business first.
I was looking for, something on 9A, but new business, is there anybody here who's got any new business? Any members? Seeing none, how about old business?
So in your packet tonight,
Go ahead, Derek.
at tab 9B, at your last meeting, there was a discussion about the exit interview procedure, and the board had a handful of comments about the form and about the process. What you have in your packet is the chosen option from the April 12th meeting. And basically an in-person interview would be scheduled at the time of resignation. Again, this is for full-time and part-time, regular and probationary employees that resign from service. It would be assigned to the town administrator. In the case of an employee under my direct supervision, then we could assign to a department head, another department head, or the assistant town administrator. And then the results would be presented by the town administrator to the select board and the department head for discussion. In your packet is that finalized questionnaire that would be used for that exit interview.
Derek, does that include the union members as well?
Yes, it does. It would be,
Okay.
again, the only ones that would be left out would be seasonal employees. If a seasonal employee went somewhere else, we would not do an exit interview for somebody that left early,
Yeah.
as that's a temporary work. But yeah, they would be for regular, full-time and part-time, and it would include both union and non-union.
All right, thank you very much.
The only hole I see, Derek, would be on, let's say you or the town, the assistant town administrator decided to leave, would be who would interview them? And would it be your recommendation that it be the Board of Selectmen, a member of the Board of Selectmen, or maybe the chair of the Board of Selectmen at that time?
I think, yeah, maybe an alteration the board could make at this time is if a department head or even a second in charge, where assistant town administrator or deputy chief or something like that, then at that point it'd be appropriate that the chair become involved at that time as well to perform that exit interview. So if it was the town administrator leaving, yeah, the chair could do it with the assistant or vice versa. But yeah, if it's a department head or next in line, I think that would be appropriate.
And can we incorporate that into this?
Yes, we can. Yeah, if the board wants to modify the suggested motion to include that, we can do that.
Okay.
Anybody got anything else? Chet, you're in personnel. Did you look this over?
I did.
And you're happy?
Yeah, I think it's great. I'll
Okay,
make a
good.
motion if we're ready.
So does somebody want to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to adopt the exit interview questionnaire with the discussed changes for if a town administrator or the equivalent of second in charge leaves, that the select board chair would do the exit interview for those particular cases. And to begin using this questionnaire for full-time and part-time regular and probationary employees that resign from service.
The only thing I'd like to make, and you don't think you mentioned it, was department heads. I think we need to include the select board chair or his designee in that in the department, any department head that leaves. Would you agree with that amendment?
Yeah.
How's that, Derek? You understand?
I do, yes.
So it would be the chair or his designee, because it could be an issue where, the designee may be too close to something or have an issue. So, I mean, the chair. So I would prefer the chair or his designee. So we have a motion. Anybody want to second that?
I'll
Yes,
second.
sir.
That was
Give it to
seconded by
Jim.
Jim.
Yep, give it to Jim.
Okay. We have a motion by Chet, seconded by Jim. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, we'll call a roll. Jim,
Yes.
Collis,
Yes,
Mark,
Yes, sir.
Chet,
Yes.
and myself is a yes. So that's 5-0-0. Derek, you'll make the necessary changes and I'll get that into, I don't know if you put the personnel plan or however you want to do it, but we'll
We
go
will
ahead
have
with that.
We will have a clause, just a statement to go in for the personnel plan when we make other suggested changes over the summer. In the meantime, we'll make all department heads aware of this change and begin implementing immediately.
Okay, great.
Peter, I have a question.
Go right ahead, Mark.
After the phone call you and I had the other day, when I gave you the updates on the budget committee, do you want to discuss as far as meetings in person? Or do you want to wait and do that in non-public?
Derek, where should we be taking that up?
That should be a public discussion. That would not fall under non-public if you wanted to revisit the
Let's discuss it right
January
now.
vote.
Let's have a discussion on it right now. Mark?
So I met with the board, the
Budget committee.
budget committee the other day. And one of the discussions we had that went pretty much in depth was the fact that they would like to meet in person, face to face, to have their meetings. And they were pretty adamant about it. And I said to Joe Alexander, who was the chair of the budget committee, I would bring that up at our meeting and discuss it with everybody and see how they feel. I know for myself, I will have my second shot Saturday, and I know a lot of the people are now up to their second shots for the COVID. And I know we had discussed, I believe it was June, correct, Peter? That
June 1st, we were going to drop we would review, actually,
yeah,
Yep.
June 1st, the meeting in person regulation. I think that's what we had decided on a couple of months ago or a month ago.
and
So go
I
ahead,
just,
Mark.
I don't know, I feel that it's time to go back. I like these meetings, don't get me wrong, but I think it's time to go back to the one-on-one in-person to have our meetings. And this is what the budget committee is asking as well. I don't know how the rest of the board members feel, but
I can tell, I had this discussion with Derek the other day, and trying to move forward with this. And our budget committee, same with the planning board, there's such large committees, it would be hard to have the social distancing at town hall. So we would have to make special arrangements. Maybe, I think, Derek, you mentioned the school, in order to do that. Now all these things could change in the next 30 days with whatever the governor decides. Actually, I think May 7th is the big day, isn't it, Derek?
Yeah, and if I could just speak, if I
Go
could
right
just
ahead.
speak to this for a second. The safer at home guidelines that were put forth by the governor's office did not necessarily apply to municipalities. He did not want to hamstring municipality operations by forcing that upon them. So they were not included in those. So for some, the school board is able to meet at the media center in a much more spread out area. So what is coming out of the governor's office is last week during his press conference, he indicated that new guidance would be coming out this week on safer at home guidance and safer at home recommendations. And it would go into effect on May 8th when the current protocols expire. So right now it is recommended for 6-foot social distancing and masks to be worn when social distancing cannot be maintained. Here in room 106 with the tables that we currently have set up, we took measurements this morning. We can fit 5 people at these 5 tables maintaining 6-foot social distance. That would be the chair at the center of the head table and 2 members on each side at either end, and we might have to add a little bit of spacing in there. But that would really be the only way that we'd be able to use our current setup to do that. And then we'd be able to have 6 single chairs or 4 sets of double chairs in the audience for the public. So we would have to maintain the telephone if we were going to maintain that 6-foot distance in this room.
Can I ask a question? When's our next meeting?
The select board is next meeting on May 10th.
So I would like, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think we should table this to that time and see what the governor's ruling is, and then make a recommendation or a change till at that time.
Peter, this is Mark. I'll accept that.
You know, it just makes sense that we don't really know what the rules are going to be in the next couple of weeks. We'll have a meeting on the 10th. The governor's going to make a ruling on the 7th or 8th. And we can make our decision from there. Collis, did you have any input?
Well, yeah, I can go with that. Although I've always been an advocate of that, this is a personal choice that needs to be made by individuals, because every individual's circumstance, not everybody, individual circumstances vary from one person to another. Those people who have been fully vaccinated and waited the 2 weeks and feel comfortable attending in person ought to be able to attend in person. Those who do not, for whatever reason, want to participate remotely ought to be offered the opportunity to participate remotely.
So what you're saying, Collis, is you want it both ways?
Yep.
Okay, I'm just,
Yep.
When I say both ways, you want it to be a hybrid where people can either participate from home or come into town hall.
Yep, it'd be an individual.
If we can
individual
do
choice.
town
You mentioned
hall.
Planning board, Peter, I know several members that participate on the planning board, myself being one of them, who's fully vaccinated, waited the 2 weeks. I'm comfortable meeting in person, but I also know that there are certain members of the planning board who are not and who would like to continue to meet remotely. And I think we ought to be able to bring them in remotely and do, as you call it, Peter, a hybrid.
Okay. So my idea is to table it to the 10th meeting. Has anybody got any discussion on that? Everybody all set with that?
I'll accept that, Peter. No problems.
Eric, can we put that then?
Yes, I will add that to the agenda for May 10th.
So, and then maybe you could have some feedback or some direction from the governor at that time.
So he indicated in his press conference last week that draft guidance would be coming out at the end of this week. So we are hopeful that will have that. I will make the board members aware that with this absence from town hall, we did make a decision to change out some of the equipment by GTV here at town hall to improve meetings moving forward. So they are still finalizing that installation, troubleshooting, and testing that. So the purpose really to do this is to allow those remote guests and remote participants to more fully participate in the meetings. So we are working on that, so it'll still be able to stream. We don't anticipate that testing and troubleshooting will be done until June 1st, but They are continuing working, and if I have an update on May 10th, I will provide that to the board.
One of my concerns, just to throw it out there, one of my concerns, and we can all think about it, is, say we decide to stay in 106, but in a hybrid situation, then like you take like the budget committee technically has like 15 members. And so we plan on a hybrid situation where we only have 6 or 7 members coming in, but then all of a sudden everybody wants to come in, and then that room does not work. Same thing with planning. If you had some homeowners that wanted to come in during a public hearing or something, how would you handle something like that if you can't plan on the number of people that are going to be there? That's my concern. I hope you all think about that, how we, come up with an idea. When we first started on the planning board, we had people wait outside and bring them in by phone call, which was kind of, have them sit in the car. We'll call you when we're ready for you, which, it's not unusual right now. That's what they do at the doctor's office. But just something to think about. And we'll talk about that again at the 10th meeting. Hopefully we'll have some more feedback. That work for you, Chet?
Yeah, it does. Hopefully I'm not repeating anything that was said because I got booted, but to your point there, Peter, just to think about for the 10th, that social distancing is so important. So I would think the budget committee, planning, those kinds of things, there would be some sort of cycle in and out process for those that prefer to be there. So that's what I would propose on the 10th when we have that discussion.
All right, great. All right, so we'll table that to the 10th. Derek, is there anything else we can discuss to another 13 minutes to our public hearing?
The only other item, I did provide the board separate from your packet, but attached to your packet, the survey results from the HR survey that was sent out in April. Again, this was the non-union employee surveys responding to leave policies. We had 48 of 54 non-union employees respond. My recommendation to the board this evening would be to vote to release those results so that we can send those back out to the non-union employees, whether they answered or not, by email, to send that out so they can at least see that information in the comments we got back. And then department heads, Danielle and I will start to take those comments into consideration as we start to propose our change to the personnel plan.
Okay, there's a lot. I have a lot of questions on that. I spent some time going through that, but I can understand what you're saying. You want to release it so everybody else can comment on it. I wasn't really sure what some of the comments were add holidays, and I wasn't really sure what that really add a holiday and take away something else, or just add holidays. I mean, I wasn't really sure what that was all about. And then also, I understood the sick leave incentive where somebody gets incentivized to not take sick leave, even though they may be sick and coming in and affecting other people. I understand those concerns. Those are all things we need to address, but I would take a motion that allows Derek and Danielle to release this information, the survey information, to the employees.
I'll make that motion, Peter.
Thank you, Chet. Second?
Second.
Seconded by Collis. Any discussion? Seeing none. Jim?
Yes.
Collis?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And myself is a yes. And did everybody get the survey, the review? Mark, did you get yours?
I did.
Collis?
I went through it.
Okay. Collis, did you get yours?
Yes.
And Jim, you got yours?
Got it. Thank you.
And Chet, you got yours, right? Good. All right. So we'll do you go ahead, Derek. You can release that to the employees.
Thank you very much.
So can
Anything else?
Peter, can I ask a question? Are we going to do anything else with this other than just authorize it to be released?
No, right now we're authorized it to be released, but I would hold on to it because, I'm sure some of the employees will have comments on the survey, and we need to have that in hand. So,
Okay. All right, thanks.
anything else, Derek?
The only other item in your packet this evening is the action matrix.
Not much on it.
No.
I guess one could be we could add to it, put the survey, results of the survey and feedback and a later date. What would you figure sometimes in one of the meetings in late June or mid-June? Derek?
So again, to bring everyone up to speed, our thoughts were to have 2 additional surveys. The next one would be related to our policies related to employee development, on-the-job training, tuition reimbursement, those kind of items. And then a third would be related to technology. That would include work-at-home policies. Again, the town never had a work-at-home policy until COVID hit a year ago, and we developed a Band-Aid solution, but we don't see that as a long-term solution, as well as required cell phones for certain individuals versus personal cell phone use, bring your own device kind of policies, technology policies. So we are putting together, and we'll have a survey for you on May 10th, and we'll be, as soon as we get that, we'll send that out for comment by email. But at the May 10th meeting, we'll have what we hope to be in a final form for a release of a second survey. I think what we saw with this one is we can go a little bit shorter on the response time, and then get a third one. And then with department heads and Danielle and myself working over the summer to start crafting any changes that the board may want to see. So if board members can continue to look at the results of this survey and to perhaps think on where we as staff should be going to any changes in our personnel plan that would reflect some of the recommendations that are coming from our non-union employees, but also they'll be coming from department heads that'd be great.
Are you taking the time to compare union benefits to the non-union benefits? I mean, not as far, as far as days off, hours, compensation, vacation. Are you trying to equalize that? Because that changes on a regular basis every time you do a union contract.
Yeah, so I think right now with our union CBAs, when it comes to vacation accrual as well as personal time off, we're consistent across the board with that and the P plan across the 4 unions as well as our non-union employees. So we do have consistent methods of how those are calculated and how they are awarded at this time. We're very aware, I was here, I've been here with the town for 18 years now. So I can remember the last time there was a big shakeup on personnel plan and we had the formation of a 4th union. So we're very thoughtful on what kind of changes we'll be proposing to the board. We don't want anyone felt left out or left behind because they're either non-union or union. So we're going to take all that into account before we make any proposals to the board.
All right, thank you. Anybody got any questions, comments? Seeing none, Derek, what's next?
We have a public hearing scheduled for 7, which we cannot start early.
You want to take a 5-minute break?
Daryl, are you able to pause the stream on GTV if the chair recesses the meeting for 5 minutes?
Okay, so we'll recess. We'll take a quick recess and reform at 6:59. How's that?
That's good. I'll just remind members that it asks that you turn off your video and you mute while we're in this recess. Thank you. back live.
All right, like this is a continuation of the select board meeting, and we're now going to have a public hearing scheduled for 7 o'clock. New Hampshire RSA 41:14-A, conservation easement, map 7, lot 91A, Snook Road. And this is requested by the Conservation Commission. Scheduled public hearing for the town of Quogue, acquisition of the executory interest in 36.745 acre conservation easement being conveyed to the Piscataqua Land Conservancy on map 7, lot 19A, located on Snick Road. In compliance with RSA 41:14-A, the Goffstown Select Board is conducting a public hearing to accept public input pertaining to the acceptance and exclusionary interest in the lot 36.75 acre conservation easement being conveyed to the Piscataqua Land Conservancy, map 7, lot 91A, located on Snook Road. A second public hearing is scheduled for Monday, May 10th at 7 p.m. A vote on the matter is scheduled for Monday, May 24th. Derek, did you want to go over the background?
Yes, we do have Conservation Commission member David Neiman also on the line, but he presented this to the board on April 12th. Again, this is a almost 37 acre conservation easement. It will be held by the Piscataqua Land Conservancy. This adds to an existing 213 acres of contiguous conservation land. It will conserve land protecting the Gorham Brook tributary and associated wetlands and buffer drainage, and the wetlands connecting the Snook Road swamp. Both of these are designated as prime wetlands. The financial impact, the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services has awarded a grant for $73,000 from the Aquatic Resource Mitigation Fund. The remaining costs associated with the conservation easement of $73,797 would come from the Land Use Change Tax Conservation Fund. The balance of that conservation fund as of the end of March 2021 is $216,350.61.
Is there anybody on the line, public, who wants input on this project?
I'm sharing my screen now. There is nobody on the telephone line to make comment at this time.
Well, seeing no public comment, I would close the public hearing. And again, we'll continue it on May 10th at 7 p.m.
Peter, can I make a comment, please?
Oh, go ahead, Collis, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just want to enter into the record that during the planning board meeting of last Thursday, the planning board voted unanimously to support the easement and for the town to assume the executory interest, and that they convey that to the Board of Selectmen. So I just want to put that into the record. Thank you.
Anybody else, anything else? Thank you, Collis. We'll enter that into the record, and again, I will continue we'll have another we'll close the public hearing, and we'll start, we'll bring it up again on May 10th for the second hearing, and we'll go from there. Anything else? Anybody on the line for public comment, period? Derek?
No, there's nobody on the telephone line.
I would entertain a motion. Non-public, go into non-public.
I'll make the motion. We go to non-public session, RSA 91A:3, 2B for hiring, Peter.
Okay, thank you. Second by,
Second.
is that you, Chet?
Yep.
Motion by Mark, seconded by Chet. Roll call, Jim?
Yes.
Collis?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes, sir.
Chet?
Yes.
And myself is a yes. That'll conclude tonight's public portion of the meeting. We'll be going into non-public. Thank you for joining.